Hi, welcome to Shell's Pearls of Wisdom. If this is your first time joining us, please click like, and subscribe. I am here with the beautiful Daniela, aka
Miss Danny Panda.
Danny Panda. I love that. Ooh, it's my first blow of a kiss. I haven't had one of those yet.
You gotta blow the kisses.
Right, and she's got the red lipstick on, so we know. When you got the red lips, you gotta blow them kisses.
Kiss the baby, shake the hands, or is it shake the babies, kiss the hands?
I don't know. I don't want to kiss or shake anything right now with
Oh,
Corona. So
it's like 6, yeah. Or
right, 6 feet away, please. 6 feet. 6 feet.
Actually, Wisconsin's being known as one cow away or two baby calves away. That is what they're. That is their distancing, their social distancing measure at this point.
I love it. I love it. Oh my God, that's funny.
Love it.
So, Daniela, you are 37 years of age, and you are engaged.
Yes, I am.
And this is what's so cute, y'all. Her fiance's name is Daniel. So it's Daniela and Daniel.
The double D's. Double D's.
Tell me that's not the damn cutest thing. Like, I just want to buy her a wedding gift just so I can get stuff with DD all over it.
Or the double D's.
Double D's gives a whole new meaning to the double D. I love it. I love it. So, I'm honestly just gonna dive right in with you, Daniela, because we've been talking off screen, and I kind of like to get to know my pinup beauties before we talk. And she's kind of shared a little bit of her story with me so far, but we're gonna kind of dive into some difficult things, some fun things, some funny things. We'll see. But I do want to start with the young age of 11. We're going to start with 11 because that's kind of where you said stuff started kind of going, or actually 12, a little bit younger.
Yeah.
Let me know what exactly the dynamic was in your household around that age.
So at that time, that was around the time that my mother left. My parents divorced due to my mother having an affair outside her marriage.
Talk up just a little bit more, Daniela.
Oh, sorry.
It's okay.
So my mother left home. Her and my father divorced due to her having an affair outside the marriage at that time. So at that point, my father took on the responsibility of taking care of me full time.
Now, before we move on to that, because of course, being a young lady, being raised by a male, no matter how much they love and care about you, it's kind of like a woman trying to raise their son. It's hard to raise the opposite sex.
Yeah.
What was your relationship like with your mom?
So with my mom prior to, well, we didn't really have a great relationship, unfortunately. She, wasn't very kind, whether in word, physical things. I mean, between physical abuse, emotional, verbal, we didn't get along. There was, at, the age when I was a baby, my leg was broken, and that was something that she could never account for happening as to why that happened.
And you don't remember because you were too young?
I was too young. I wasn't even walking at that point. I literally only found out that happened because I saw a picture of myself in a family photo album with a cast from my hip down to my leg. My grandmother didn't want me to know that ever happened. I think she just didn't want me to perhaps be traumatized. They didn't want me to know. I was never told about that until I saw that picture. And then once seeing that picture, then I found out what had happened.
What had happened?
Well, so my mom didn't really ever have a viable explanation. It was like, well, I wasn't watching her. She fell off the couch. Oh, I got a little high. I didn't see what happened. Members of my family thought maybe I was crying too much or something happened. Maybe she got upset and twisted my leg or something along those lines. That was always kind of the thought process with everyone in my family with that. Even growing up, there was times when she wouldn't let me eat. If she was pissed off about something, then I wouldn't get to eat. I'd be locked in my room, and she would tell my father I had eaten, but I hadn't. things like that. So I literally at a point took to hiding Halloween candy in my closet. So if eventually at a point I took to hiding candy in my closet. So if I was going to be locked in, at least I'd have something to eat. Yeah.
Wow.
So yeah.
You know, we talked about a little bit of the off the camera, like that you have to, you know, be true to your story and share what your experiences are, because that has made you into the beautiful person you are today. And you know, it's sad, it saddens me that you went through this, but something about your eyes that just scream out just this, I don't know, it's like a survivor slash like superwoman. I don't know. I just know that you you have something to say. It's not probably even going to touch what I can capture in this little 30-40 minute video.
Literally like
Um,
choking inside having share because it's like that's something I've shared with my fiance and some very close friends, but I've never really openly shared that in other situations previously. So I'm like literally like I feel in my gut it's like kind of shaking where I'm like,
and you know what?
hey,
That's why I took the moment to take that break, because I can see it, and I want you to know that you're safe. And no one that's watching this, that's even anybody that's even going to click on my thing, they're all going to be women that are going to support you in this journey. So take the deep breath, know that you're safe, and know that you're not alone at this moment, because I know that is one of your fears, is being alone, and you're not at this moment. You have a strong, powerful group of people behind you. Okay. And
that's
I
why
got a big ass mouth, so I will definitely. I mean,
and that's why this community is so amazing
yeah,
because it's like it's a sorority but without some of the mean girl antics.
yes,
It's like women that come together, we support one another. And it's like oftentimes you'll find women you haven't even known that long, but if you make a post or something, just even something that seems off, and they're right there to reach out, like literally within a moment. And that
well, this is why we're doing this. This is exactly why, because your pearl, your experience is going to help someone who's younger, less experienced, maybe not as strong to stand up for themselves.
yeah,
Maybe they haven't found their voice yet,
yeah,
and you might be the one that makes them be like, you know what? If Danielle is doing this great, and look how great she is. She's getting married. She has a great guy in her life. She has a career that she loves. Then that means I can do it too.
absolutely. That's what it's all about,
So
empowering. We need to empower each other, bring one
exactly,
another up, and if we can help somebody, it's that's what this is all about.
exactly.
It's all about.
So let's go back. You did say something that I didn't know before. Was your mom ever chemically dependent on alcohol or other drugs while you were growing up that you witnessed?
She was not. I know she's on antidepressants, but my father was chemically dependent on alcohol for many years. So that was a thing. Um, my mom, yeah, she was on antidepressants. She was on Paxil, multiple, Zoloft, all the big
The
names.
mood stabilizing stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
But my dad was an alcoholic for many years. That was scary because being home alone, being raised by my father, I just think he couldn't accept what was going on. It was hard for him, I think. And things like he was an amazing father. He was never abusive. He was never horrible to me. But that I think was such a hard point in his life where I mean I literally remember my freshman year homecoming him being brought home by my aunt because he had been arrested for drunk driving on the wrong side of the street, and it was things like that, or the womanizing. Those were things I all experienced with him growing up. And
Have you ever been put in a position where you had to take care of your father when he overdrank?
I did not actually because at that point I had my own like issues dealing with. So um and oftentimes it was usually my aunt who would my aunts would step in and take care of him, or my grandmother. Like he had those restrictions. I was very young at that time because I mean I mean it was very young to deal with that. I mean I even took over like stuff like doing laundry, making dinner, and doing things like
You
that.
became the woman of the house.
I became the woman of the house, and that's difficult at that age because it's like I mean psychologically you don't even know yourself yet, and to be able to take care of another human being who technically should take care of you, it's like it's a very different
The
dynamic.
roles were reversed. You were like the adult when he was like the child.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But I don't want that in any tone to, because he was, he fought to have me and have me full time and take care of me.
Yeah.
He was
It
amazing.
sounded like he had a struggle between doing the right thing and
Yeah,
also trying to like live through his own demons.
exactly.
And that's hard because you're like having like one side saying like you're suffering, you're hurt, you're depressed, and then the
Yep.
other side's like you got to take care of this young one that she's
Mhm.
suffering, she's hurting, she's depressed.
Yeah,
It's hard.
yeah. And I
It's
often think
hard.
from times like when I was a cutter and things like that, he didn't know how to deal with that at all.
Yeah.
That was something just so hard for him to handle, and I almost think that was almost a rising up for him of like his own mental struggles.
Yep.
So look at
Yeah.
that. He thought it was kind of him having to face some of his own difficulties and struggles.
I'm sure he did the best he knew how. I mean, we're going to get into more of the genetics behind that because, like you said, you hit it right on the head. Like when you're struggling yourself with depression or any kind of, mental whether it's bipolar or you're just depressed from, seasonal depression. Any of those times, it is hard to really comprehend how to put things in perspective in order of what's important because that sometimes overtakes the importance of anything else, even if it's raising your child.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely. Yeah.
so let's go to when you're about 13 now. You said that this is when things kind of got a little sketchy with school and being bullied and, picked on. So let's dive into that a little bit. Tell me about the 13-year-old Daniela. What did you go through at that time?
Well, 13-year-old Danielle was kind of like a little gothy, a little baby bat, I'll say, a baby bat. Um, very much into Ouija boards, skulls, skeletons, ghost hunts. I remember me and one of my best friends, because I had about two at that time, and me and her did our school history fair project was on ghosts and hauntings in Illinois and Chicago. That was like something we did. So I was very much into that. I'd sneak under cemetery fences, do grave rubbings, and like I loved that stuff.
I'm going to tell you, 13-year-old Daniela sounds badass. I would have kicked it with you.
Yes, thank you.
We
But
probably would have got into some trouble though.
somehow I did not get in very much trouble somehow.
Oh, okay.
But I mean, I guess maybe not in trouble with like severe sense, but it also put me in a place with other kids going to school where it's like they, I think, didn't get that sense or dealing with that. Didn't really, it wasn't a norm, I guess. So I've had loogies hung to my hair at that time. I had gum spit in my hair at that time. Dog food put in my locker. It's just, I think it's just those kinds of things. Being that person, I think there's a huge at that age, people are so young and so impressionable. Not to say that they shouldn't own being that shitty of a person, because at some point, someone's got to tell them, yeah, you were a shitty human at that point. But I do think,
It's an important thing to always remember about bullying. I think one thing that every pinup girl I have interviewed thus far, every single one of them,
yeah,
has gone through bullying, has gone through the teasing, not feeling like you're accepted.
yeah,
And honestly, just side note, as a parent of children myself now, it is so imperative that we watch out for these kids that are getting picked on, bullied, or maybe just, kind of being left behind with the spectrum of like socialization,
yeah,
because it will be harder in life for them to socialize and be accepted and have that confidence that you
yeah,
need to be able to be an adult and function in the world, get a job, have a career, be successful. If you only felt like growing up you were not good enough and you were, the weirdo or whatever you wanted to say. So I commend you once again to be where you are now and have the success that you have when you were told at a very young age that you were this, that, or the other. I'm glad that you were able to see past what other people's judgment were and see who you were for yourself.
it takes a long time to get out of that, and I think it's hugely important that we provide, like you said, providing that network for our younger generations to know that they're going to be okay and they are more than this moment. I think that's
Yeah.
hugely important saying that I've always had, and in my relationship with my fiance, that was a huge thing when we'd have disagreements and we'd have issues. It was, we are more than this moment, and I think
Oh,
a
I love
big
that.
it's a big thing. I think just as individuals, we all have to remember we are more in this moment. This is not forever.
Yeah.
You know,
That is, remember that. We are bigger than this moment that's happening right now.
yeah,
Yeah.
we are more
Oh
than,
wow.
we will overpower. We will come through. It's going. You will get to a great point. Right now is not forever.
No. All right. Well, that kind of gives me right into the next segue here. We're doing really good with this transitioning thing there, Daniela. So now we're going into the dreaded freshman year of high school, and no one likes this. It's most awkward. Your boobs are growing, your hips are spreading, you're
We're not
getting
growing.
acne, huh?
We're not growing.
Or not growing, yes. Lack thereof. Yes, that could be a problem too.
It can.
Um, your freshman year of high school, you told me that you went through it wasn't so bad as it was before, but you did encounter your first boyfriend, and let's talk about that for a minute.
So at that point, being just young and naive, I don't know. I guess, I always been the girl that wanted a marriage, wanted a relationship. I just always wanted those things. So one naively went to a relationship thinking, no, boys don't cheat. That doesn't happen. Well, unfortunately, that did happen. Unfortunately, I also was by
He
this person,
what?
physically abused by this person,
Okay.
mentally abused, taken
So we're
advantage.
not going to skip over that, Danielle.
No, I know, I know, I like
I
to be
know
like,
you want to,
I just like
but
lay through.
yeah, you were trying to do. She does this like little slide, like little.
I like to just
No. This
later
is
up.
this this is an important factor because the rate of abuse and physical, mental, and verbal and emotional abuse that our young women are going through at an earlier age in life is getting out of control. And a lot of it is because they've seen some kind of verbal, mental, physical, emotional abuse in their childhood, whether it be like the father doing it to the mom doing it to the dad, however the case may go. And then now we start this cycle where women think that it's okay for a man or a woman to treat someone of this, someone like this because they think it's almost normal.
It's a normalcy where people are
Right.
accustomed to it,
So
and they think,
let's
oh,
talk about how for you this of course was not normal and you did not like this
no.
because it's a problem.
I
So
mean,
let's dive into what type of abuse did you suffer?
aside from like the verbal, which is name calling and whore, bitch, things like that. The physical was being held up by my neck against a brick wall and being punched. I mean, literally to the point I pissed myself because I was so afraid and so scared. Literally peed my pants because I was. I mean, yeah, that's
And did
horrendous.
he ever have any repercussions for his actions?
No. Well, I mean, eventually, not through me, but eventually, I think he definitely. I mean, he's in jail for life at this point. So I think
Hmm.
karma caught up. There's other things that played into that. So that didn't directly have to do with me, but he
Right.
definitely.
But
I
you
mean,
dodged a bullet.
I dodged a bullet for sure. I mean, I can't say fully dodged it because I kind of allowed those things to happen, allowed to be minimalized, allowed to be taken advantage of. I mean, I have this thing where I'm always like, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. And I constantly say it. And it's even, my fiance's like, stop saying that. It's like, I have to stop doing that. But I always do. And I think between like my mother and this boyfriend, it came from that moment in life. And where I'm like, I'm sorry about this. And it's even something stupid like a dish falls and it's not even, and I'm like, I'm sorry. It's just, I've carried that through.
You are always self-projecting, self-loathe to yourself.
Yeah.
And that comes from you probably suffer, I don't know if you go to therapy, but you probably suffer a little bit from post-traumatic stress disorder. And
You feel like that's a huge thing. To the point, loud noises are a huge thing for me. Where it's like it's even like dishes clatter, things like that are all triggers where I'm like, it's immediately, or voices raised, and I'm just like, it just,
yeah,
yeah, it kind of puts
yeah.
you.
it's sad that
It's like a mechanism.
yeah, it's sad that a lot of people don't realize that they're suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder, because when we hear about it, it's always like geared to like our soldiers and our vets,
Yeah, exactly. I
you
mean,
know, but
yeah,
you probably have it, and you probably have a significant amount.
yeah,
So definitely when you're able to, you know, explore that side of yourself,
yeah,
definitely explore it, because there are a lot of coping mechanisms, so that not that it would ever just be gone,
yeah,
but it can help you with it, because you would hate to ever be in in a situation where it's going to be loud or it's going to be startling
yeah,
and you go into a true shutdown.
yeah. Which I've done, not in like true situation, but I've like done shutdowns
Yeah.
in minimal situations. So it's like I can imagine if I had a very serious, I could potentially do that. I wouldn't even, and I have done therapy, but right now with all of this going on, I mean, things.
Yeah. Can't really go anywhere.
I guess I can look into teletherapy. My fiance,
Yeah.
someone
This might be
suggested,
a great opportunity for you to
yeah,
dive back into that, Daniela, about, you know, what kind of, because first thing is first, you got to find out what the triggering factor is,
yeah,
what moment in your life that started this. And
yeah,
then from that on, the counselor or the therapist will actually start dissecting and picking apart. And then
yeah,
you can actually start seeing triggers before they even trigger,
yeah.
because they'll teach you so much of how your body's responding. So
It's
just a
important.
little side note, FYI, if that's something that you feel like you suffer with, because
Mhm.
I'm familiar with it,
Yeah,
there are other coping mechanisms and things that they teach you to kind of like try to like cope with
to
that.
trigger your soul back up. So
Yeah. Or if
like,
you're gonna have a trigger, how to reel yourself back in
yeah,
so that it doesn't spiral so bad out of control.
yeah.
If that makes sense.
No, it does because
Yeah.
a lot of times I've had moments where it's like I drink too much or
No.
other
Yeah.
things. The cutting I had spoken of, it's like those are things that where it's like I know when I'm spiraling because those are things that start to manifest and
Yep.
happen, and I'm like, oh well, here we
Yep.
go.
And then that brings us right into that, the cutting you brought up. Look at you. You're like like this. I like it when it just goes that easy for me. Um, so you
Like a
brought
little
up the
courage.
hey, hey, I'm not gonna knock it. I'm not gonna knock it. As long as you over 21, I don't care. You can do
Also,
whatever
you
you
are
want.
because you are amazing. So
Oh, thank you. So that brings us right into the cutting. You said the cutting started around 16 years old. You said it was during the relationship where you did suffer the abuse.
mhm,
Um, you just kind of hit it on the head that that was a coping mechanism.
yeah,
How long did the cutting last?
that lasted. I mean, into my early 30s. So it became something where any little situation, if I felt too or into anything, I locked myself in a bathroom and cut with whatever was available, which is the stupidest thing because you never know. Like, especially working in medical field, we know exactly like certain thing it could be rusty, it could be who knows, but it's not healthy. It's not good. But that was a huge thing for me to do that, and it was just such a great release of pain and things I couldn't talk
I was going
about
to ask you,
for
like, for people that don't
kids.
know about cutting, or people don't know exactly what that provides for you, explain to us what that provided, how it made you feel, like when it would happen, why you would do it, what situations would make you want to do it. Explain that to us.
I mean, as far as like a triggering situation, it could be anything like a fight with my fiance, or it could be stress. I mean, anything. I mean, there's a multitude of things. Just anything where I felt backed into a corner, or where I felt absolutely broken down in a moment. It was a way to just release that pain, things I couldn't verbalize, things I couldn't say, or things maybe I was afraid to say, or hadn't found my voice to say. And it's not exactly a suicidal ideology, although I can't say I haven't had those moments, but cutting is not a way of a suicidal ideology. It's that release of
So
pain,
it's not something you do because you want to end your life. It's actually something so you can work through your life.
work through your life, get through that pain in that moment, release it. Because you can't verbalize it, you feel trapped in a moment. There's not always what you just feel backed into a corner, kind of like an animal trapped into a cage. It's just you can't really, you don't have, and we talked about like not having enough coping mechanism. Sometimes you just don't have that coping mechanism, and I carried that through for a very long time. Like I said, into my early 30s, it was still a thing for me. And
Where were your particular spots that you would use?
I actually like to do my inner arms, my
Mhm.
elbows, legs, thighs. I did once on my breast. It's just, I mean, I took a pair of scissors once and cut down onto my antecubital fossa or inner elbow,
Mhm.
down to the white meat, where it was. I did
Oh.
it, and I did it in front of my fiance at the time, just out of frustration and not knowing how to deal with my own situation at that point, and he was just horrified in the moment. But it's like also for me, I'm like, oh, I did it, and I was like, at first I was seeing it was like this the white meat of the skin. I'm like, well, that's a little deep, but then I'm also like, you know what, I don't care. It was just it's a release. I had to do it. I needed that moment.
Would you describe it as like someone who does meditation when they do like their deep breath cleansing, like that, whew, like you're able to let it go, or is it like a high feeling? Like what do you feel afterwards?
I can't even say it's a high feeling because afterwards sometimes I feel shame because I've literally had moments where people have seen the scars and I've had to try to explain them away. So it's shameful afterwards. And there's so much lack of understanding about the whole situation behind cutting that a lot of people view it as like a teenager thing and only teenagers do this.
Right.
You don't necessarily get that this isn't just a teenager thing. It isn't a suicidal ideology, but even if it was, it's just it's a thing that is very hard to explain away to anyone. So I did feel a big sense of shame afterwards because then I'd have to try to hide these scars and try to make sure no one saw them. And at the end of the day, it didn't really make me feel better when things heal. It made me feel better in the moment, but moving forward over the next few days, I didn't feel really better
Right.
about
It
it.
kind of like caught up to you of the way it really made you feel.
Yeah.
Yeah. I kind of like to describe it as kind of like a feeling of if you're having a stressful moment and you like to go kickboxing, something about hitting that bag and, getting that frustration out, or people that love tattoos, even though they're super painful and they hurt at the time. A lot of people say it's the therapeutic and that it's a release of a lot of like endorphins and things that you need.
A lot of
So
time when I was still in that, when I was getting the tattoo, like I would get tattoos and I literally almost fall asleep in the chair. And I was like, because I got that whole, it was that same kind of dynamic and dichotomy with that whole situation with cutting, with the needle and just the pain sensation.
yeah, I think that a lot of people, when I talk to other people now, because I'm really starting to really learn more and more about this as I'm doing these interviews, which is just amazing because like for a lot of us, I did not understand the dynamic of the cutting. I knew that it did help a release. I knew that. I just didn't know like in what form or what fashion. And I know a lot of people were just telling me that like the pain itself was just something that they controlled. So instead of it being painful for somebody projecting pain onto them, they were giving it to themselves. And it felt better than receiving it from another human being.
And I feel also another thing that's another point of view from that side is also it's so great within yourself that sometimes you don't know how to expound that away and expel it and get it out. And that's a way where like that blood flows and you see that cut and it gets it out. It's like a way of kind of seeing it out because you can't verbalize some things. You just aren't able to expel that pain in other ways. And
Because it's
don't.
like when you hurt from like words or from actions of another person, it's
Mhm.
like since people can't see that scar and
Yeah.
see it hurt, they can't understand it. But at least if you see the blood and you see the scar, that explains that hurt.
Yeah.
And it's not something that somebody's going to be like, huh, I don't get it. No, you see it, you understand it. It's
Yeah.
something that people can process.
Exactly. And it's
Yeah.
also just to like kind of get it, feel like you're getting it fully out without emotionally fully hanging on to it. You still emotionally hold on to it a bit, but it's a way of like kind of like, okay, I'm not hanging this in my soul anymore. It's not
Yeah.
taking up closet space. It's not renting a place in my soul any longer.
Yeah.
So to speak, at least not fully.
Yeah. No, I mean, like I said, I appreciate you telling me this because honestly, I'm asking these questions not just for the great like interview aspect. I do want to fully understand my fellow, my females, or even my guy counterparts that have to do this, because if there's ever something that I can do for yourself or someone else, instead of having to do the self-mutilating, I would love to be able to provide that. And that is whether it's talking to, a hug, or we do go punch out a bag or something.
Yeah.
Because the whole goal is to get a healthier coping mechanism.
Exactly. And it takes a long time because
Yeah.
it takes a long time to get out of that, because I would be lying and remiss if I said that there's not days now that I'm like, well, I could just do this. And there's not times when I want to go and lock myself in a bathroom and do it now.
And what now has given you the power and the strength to not do it?
Well, I think my fiance is a huge factor. He's a huge factor.
I kind of knew you were going to say that without knowing.
He's a huge factor. The other D to the double D's is a huge factor.
The better half.
Yeah, my better half. That's definitely true. He is my better half. But also just I don't feel like I can continue on that way. I just physically cannot. It's just not, it's not, I'm trying to heal from that and trying to heal from other aspects of just like deep-seated scarring. And it's like, I need to like let that go and I just have to find other ways, whether it's yoga, whether and it's it's a battle. It's not an easy thing. It's not overnight.
And you might try many things before you find what works for you.
Exactly.
Because what works for me might not work for you.
Exactly.
And that's safe though. That's a safe thing to do. And it's okay. You can try 101 things before you find that one thing. It might be skydiving.
Yes.
Like every once in a while, I gotta jump out of a plane.
Yes. Hopefully, I'm not gonna splat on the ground, but yes, I know.
Well, hopefully the parachute does all.
Right.
Otherwise, I'm gonna feel like horrible. I'm like, oh my god, they exploded. What?
Oops. But it takes a while. I'd be remiss to say that it's like I think it's something I'll struggle with forever. Honestly, there's always going to be that voice in the back of my head. It's like, well, you could do this, and it's just an easy way to do it. Yeah. I mean, it's never going to be like, gone fully, but it's just finding other things, It's just kind of.
No, I completely, without me have ever doing this or, experiencing it myself, I can totally relate on my side of it, where my coping mechanism, unfortunately, was food. And it wasn't like one of those like, oh, I only eat when I'm sad. No, I ate when I was happy, sad, mad, whatever. That just because food brought such pleasure.
Food is pleasurable. I mean, that's like, yeah.
I mean, some people eat to live. Like they eat because like they gotta eat. But for me, it was like, oh my god, the succulentness and the juiciness it was like such a like porn. That
an elation that comes over you. It's like
yes. Well, that's not healthy.
It's not. But I'm trying to think like this is I can see what.
Oh yeah, it's totally it's totally an addiction, and it's totally a coping mechanism. I use it as my friend because if I'm alone, it keeps me company. Like it was a lot for me. Food and myself have a hate and love relationship.
Yeah, it takes your mind off of certain moments. It's healthy because it's nourishing and it nourishes the body, but it all depends on how we use it. And
moderation is the key.
Yeah. And
well,
like so many.
We're going to kind of like move out of your 20s, and I'm going to bring you to a delicate age of 32.
Yeah. That was, that was 2016. That's when my father took his life. And that moment has forever changed everything in my world completely. It also kind of brought into focus some of the mental issues that I kind of felt alone for a very long time, because I know it's like a lot of times he would ask me why I was cutting, why I was doing this, and what was so wrong, and he couldn't grasp and understand it. But I think with his alcoholism and things like that, he had his own mental issues he was struggling with, and he was able to keep them at bay. So one thing, shortly before his suicide, he had cut out drinking entirely. Like and
Wow.
wasn't drinking. So, and prior to suicide, he had lost his job and things like that. I believe,
Snowball.
yeah, snowballed for him. And whereas before, drinking would have been a crutch to kind of help that, he didn't have that any longer. And I mean, he sent a text in the morning. I was on my way to work, and he told me, "Pray for me and forgive me." And that was basically the last interaction I had with him. So that, and which has made me a huge advocate for suicide prevention and awareness, because I feel it's hugely, because I struggle now looking back, and I'm like, what did I miss with him? Like, what did I miss? How did I not see this coming? Because he was such a fucking strong, I'm sorry for my language, he was such a strong person. So for me to have not seen that, and I talked to him all the time, and I would check in with him, and I was like, how are you doing today? And he would tell me he was okay and things were fine. And then for that, it would just hit me out. It blindsided me entirely. Like, it blindsided everyone who knew. Like, no one that knew my father ever would have thought that that was going to be his demise. No one would have thought that. And you know, then also looking back, we had a cousin that committed suicide. So I'm like, this is not just something that sat with him or with me. It's obviously something that spreads through, and it's something that it interconnects us all.
It's sad. I think that the more research they do on suicide prevention, because there's a lot of people that are in that fight with you, there is a big correlation that suicide is kind of like genetic. It can go through the family, and it just underlines underneath mental illness and not being properly treated, being properly diagnosed. Unfortunately, like you said, his coping mechanism might have been alcohol, and if he did not have it to lean on, he might have felt, in your words, how we talk about, we always go about to the "you're not alone," and I can now see why your pearls of wisdom is what you pick, and I can see.
You are more than this moment.
Yeah,
more than this moment.
More than this moment. So we're going to talk more now on the happier end. You're now coming toward the fact that, once again, you're an engaged woman.
Yes.
And for those that do not know Daniela, she is big in the pinup world. She is beautiful. I've got to work with her on a one-way street. I should say that wasn't really a shoot. It was a one-way walk. But we got to do that together, and she's a killer body, like banging.
I wish.
And she might be this big, but she got a booty to match. So yeah, she got a little junk in her trunk. So I can see where Daniel wanted to soup you up. You're beautiful.
Oh, so are you, darling?
Oh no, you were.
And you've always been a sparkling personality, like so amazing, so sweet. And
oh, thanks. I try.
You are.
Ask my kids.
They
might think that I'm not the so sparkling sweet girl.
But you are. I say you are, so that's it. You have a panda degree.
There you go. I've been like anointed by Miss Daniel Panda, a daddy panda.
Yes.
So you've done many pageants at this point. We're going to talk about a few. Let's start with your very first one. It was in 2018. What did you compete in?
Miss Motoblot, which was amazing. That, to me, that was my first introduction to pinup world, which it seems like anyone on the outside looking in may be like, well, why are you trying to compete? Because initially the whole process to get you into the contest, you do need to rely on like fan votes and things of that nature to get you in. For a lot of people, like, why would you try so hard? But you know what? Honestly, going through this experience was amazing. It's basically sealed my deal to stay in this pinup world, and all the women, I've made amazing friendships along the way. Like, I've met the most amazing women through this, and I continue to meet the most amazing women through this.
So you said it's okay. You were saying like how you met the like most wonderful women. Continue.
Yes. And these friendships are amazing. These are women who, in a moment when you feel like you're not getting up or you're having a dark moment, it doesn't matter if you haven't hung out with them a shit ton since then, or you're not talking to them every day. They still reach out and they care, and they'll message you and they'll be like, "Are you okay?" Here. This is like, we are an island of misfit toys, and arms open, we're here for you. Like, this is what this is about. And
Oh my
it's
God, I love it. We are misfit toys.
yeah,
Oh
an island of
wow.
misfit toys, and we're all here. Our arms are open. We are waiting, and it's wonderful. Like, there's nothing like it. There's really nothing like it.
Let's say well, I am a baby Penna. So let's say you're talking to another young lady who is feeling a little bit self unaware, and she's kind of like, I'm too big to do this. Like, oh, I'm not pretty enough. Like, what would your advice be about getting into this world?
My whole thing is that no matter who you are, size, color, anything, we are here. We are a sorority without some of the mean girl stuff. We are, like I said, we are an island of misfit toys. So you could be a cream cheese queen. You could be a Comic Con baby, cutie, Halloween queen, glamour ghoul. It's all for you. Will find a niche, and no one's going to turn you away. No one's going to look secondly at you and be like, what are you doing? No, we're all welcoming you. We're waiting for you. We love you. We're awaiting your arrival.
Yeah.
It's all about a sisterhood. It's not about one stepping over another. It's all about creating this absolute family. It's your chosen family.
Yeah.
And right now, that's one of the things about this I miss the most, because right now it's like there are certain events that would be going on right now that can't right now, unfortunately. But it's like we have those outlets. But no matter what, we still have here, and we all reach out to each other online and message, and it's amazing. Like, there's no family like this. You'll find it's the most.
Amen, sister. Like,
Yeah.
she is not joking. She's not just saying this because it sounds good. Like I said, I've only been doing this for a few short months, and already I'm interviewing women galore because I can't get enough of them, and I just want to hear their story and hear their journey, because all of these women, including Daniela, have not just been living; they've been surviving, and that is different. It's different. So to
Right.
see people who have survived through something and they continue to live despite it, pretty badass.
Despite wanting to give up, I mean, it's like you still push on, and you find other women who continue to inspire. It's amazing. These are strong, badass bitches, and
Yep.
you are that. We are all that, and it's amazing community. You know what? It's not about winning titles or prizes. That's amazing. It's awesome when it happens, and oh yeah, when it happens. But it's about that camaraderie that we all have, and that's what's important, and that's what you take away from this at the end of the day.
There's no crown, no sash that's going to be better than the feeling that you get when someone tells you that your boob is hanging out and to tuck it back in.
Yes. Yes.
Like,
Lipstick on your teeth.
right. Like,
Yeah.
that's so much better. Like, who cares if I didn't win a crown? I almost went out there with my titty out, and I did it because
Yes.
my friend over here told me to put it back in. Like,
Yeah.
that's so much better.
Or bitches will share like gummy bears with you backstage. Like, I always make sure I have my little panda pinup pack that I bring, and
Yeah.
I always make sure I bring extra lashes and everything, because
Yeah.
you need
It's
them.
it's that is what I've learned to love. Like, I traveled all the way to Detroit. I made the 5-hour trip because I I wanted more of what it was. I wasn't even gonna do it. I was like, you know what? This is kind of far. I gotta pay for a hotel. I gotta do this. It was the best experience.
Yes, it's always like moments in doubt when you're like, well, no, I shouldn't do this. But then when you actually do it, at the end of the day, you walk away like, you know what? Yes, I had this
I'm so
experience
glad I
at
did.
this moment, and all the good outweighs any kind of doubt you had or any of that. It's like
Yeah.
it's all about the ends. Like I said, we are more than this moment. Get
Yeah.
through those doubts, because it's going to be an amazing experience, and we're all here to welcome you. Welcome to your island of misfit toys.
Oh, that is great. Once again, you've been tying these up in little bows. I'm telling you, I'm about to hire you. You're gonna be my assistant. So the last thing that I need from you, baby girl, is your pearls of wisdom that we spoke about. So this is your moment to just reach out to your audience and tell them what your pearls are.
My pearls of wisdom, well, the main thing, like I'll say, is you are more than this moment. It's not we, it's you are more than this moment. So whatever moment you're in right now, you're more than that moment, and you will surpass it, and on the other side of it, it's going to be amazing. We're your island of misfit toys. Whether you're a cheesecake pinup queen, you're a Halloween queen, Comic-Con cutie, glamour ghoul, you have your home, and we're here and we're waiting for you, and it's going to be amazing, and we're welcoming you and waiting for you. We got arms open.
Oh, for a little hug.
Yes.
Oh, wow. Well, I want to say thank you so much, Daniela. Thank you for taking the afternoon and sitting down and talking with me. It's been a pleasure and an honor to talk.
To this, like, forever.
Forever.
Because when you were doing this, I was like, I want to do this with her. She's so sweet and she is amazing, and I would like to do this with her. So.
Oh, thanks.
Yes.
You know, it's really funny that that this kind of like just fell in my lap to do this. You know Alicia, of course.
Yes, she's amazing. She's such a doll. I love her. She's the sweetest.
She's the one that's my mentor. She's the one that's been helping me. She's the one that's I went over to her house and literally she gave me like 7 dresses to borrow, so I had clothes to take a photo shoot in, and she literally brought me in her bedroom and just started like taking clothes off the hangers and like putting it on her bed. And was like, try this one on, try this one.
Oh.
Like cinching it up in the back, saying, suck in, like we did this all in her, you know, her apartment in the city, and it was like one of the funnest times I've ever had. And I always like to tell this story for like our pinups that are coming. They're probably gonna get sick of it because I think I tell it all the time. But the experience, the reason why I love this experience is pretty much a lot to do with Alicia.
Yeah.
And it was Detroit Autorama, which when I entered this contest, I did not know that this is one of the biggest pinup contests there is.
It is.
I don't know these things because I'm a baby pinup.
Wait, didn't you place in this contest?
I did, but let me tell you how close I was to not going. I was this close to not even showing up.
Oh. That's how you're in that.
I had a moment. I had a little bit of a moment where I was a little bit spiraling. Like I told Danielle off camera, I suffer from bipolar. So sometimes when I'm getting put into a situation where I feel unsure about myself, I just want to shut down. I just want to quit. I just want to be like, nope, I'm not going to do it. I'm fine. Nope, no, I'm not hearing you. I don't want to do it. Like I go into that self-preservation mode where I just want to protect myself.
You create your shell, your turtle power shell.
Yep. This is exactly what I wanted to do. I wanted to climb back into my hotel bed, order some junk food, and eat. Like that's how I literally felt. Like I wanted to do that. And Alicia literally, I sent a picture of my hair, and my hair just wasn't working. My outfit that she let me borrow wasn't fitting right, and it was just like, I'm just not gonna go. Like I literally text her, I'm just not gonna go.
Yeah.
This girl, God bless her peaking heart. I love her to death. This is why I was able to place, because of this girl right here. She said, I don't know word for word, but she said basically something like this: cut the shit. Get your shit together. Everybody goes through it. Get your ass there and do this.
Yes. Sometimes you need that moment. Boom, boom, boom.
And I just literally was like,
you got a spanking.
Yeah, I did. I got a pinup beating. I got a pinup spanking by my mama pinup.
Quite right.
Like, yeah, she did. She did. She totally did. And I couldn't even say anything but okay. Because she just said it. Like, everybody goes through this. Everybody has that moment. You're gonna be fine. Get there. And then I took second.
Yes.
Yeah, and it was my second competition ever. So I was like, what?
That's amazing. See, you are more than this moment. You were more than that moment. And
girl, tell you. And then Alicia walks past me and like gives me a hug, and she said, and you weren't gonna fucking come.
Mm-hmm. And she would say it that way too, like, you weren't gonna fucking come.
Yeah, that's exactly how she said it. This is exactly how she said it. And I was like, I know, right?
Well, I'm here now.
All right. And then literally from that moment on, I was like, this is my life. This is what I want to do. Because I want to be one day somebody's mama pinup person and tell them to get their shit together, get your ass
out on the stage, girl, and strut your shit.
And you show these people why you came out here. Yeah.
Yes, strut your stilettos. do it, bitch. It's
Yeah,
happening.
yeah.
And
So
it's fine.
trust me when I say that I feel you on the this is not just this is just a moment, and that you are not alone, and to always be yourself. Like those pros that you had were literally what I had to tell myself that day to make it through to get to that stage, and it was so awesome and so amazing. And it's because of pinups like you and women like you that take away the pinup and just say a woman like you is the
Yeah.
reason why I was able to get through that. So
And
thank
you
you.
were amazing. So you were amazing. So
Oh, thank
it's
you
fun.
so
So
much.
it's important. We're the island of misfit toys, and we wait for you. We welcome you, and
Yeah,
here you
yeah,
are. And now we wait for the next baby pinups.
yeah. I'm like the broken Barbie doll that only has one leg now and naked.
I am like the Barbie doll that like somebody cut off her fucking hair. It was like buzzard it off, and I'm like, oh, now I'm like shreds. I'm missing an arm, but I'm here. So
She's got that one Barbie shoe on that's dangling off. You're like,
yeah, it's cool. It's
I
alright.
love
Somebody
it.
cut my eye.
That should be a pinup contest. The most jacked up Barbie.
It should. Oh my god, that would be a lot of fun though. I'm not gonna lie, that would be a lot of fun. I would think that would be fun. Just for the fun of it.
Yeah.
Just to be
I might have to put something together. Let's see. Let's see. Well, thank you so much, Daniela. I'm going to let your sweet self go. Thank you for joining me on Shell's Pros of Wisdom
Thank you for
and
having
sharing
me.
a pro with us. Don't hang up. I'm going to still be with you for a little bit, Daniela. But for all you out there, if you have not done so already, you better click, 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 subscribe, and then you get to see more stories and more beautiful women and all that. Bye.